everyone. I'm your host, Ryan Garcia. This is Fireside Yankees. And before we get into everything, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. We really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out Fireside Yankees on all of your favorite social media platforms, whether that's here on the YouTube, on the Instagram, on the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook. We really appreciate the support. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we're doing. And of course, check out EmpireSportsMedia.com for written coverage on the New York Yankees and all of your favorite New York sports teams. The full article where I broke down 21 different prospects from this past week is available on the website. I'll leave a link in the description. Now, without further ado, let's get started highlighting the top performers at each level. And let's get started in Tampa with the Florida Complex League. And the top guy I really want to talk about is Brando Maia, who was a highly touted international free agent signing out of Cuba in 2023, but really struggled in 2024. He didn't hit a single home run. Big strikeout numbers, did not perform, had a 98 WRC plus. But this week, he had his first home run in the Florida Complex League. He went 7 for 22, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. He now has a 1.014 OPS on the season. And look, the strikeouts are still high through the first 6 games of the year, but Maia has displayed a little more pop. He's hitting some extra base hits. He's doing damage on contact, and this is a big year for him. So if he can go out there and continue to do some damage on contact, hit some home runs, he could get a nice bump in our mid-season rankings. I had him as like a back-end top 30 guy. He was someone who I consider not having on the list entirely. Like, I really wasn't sure if I was going to rank him, but I did go with the prospect pedigree. I did look and say, hey, this is still a guy who the Yankees gave a very large bonus to in 2023. I imagine that he's not a complete and utter bust, or I'd hope that he's not a complete and utter bust, someone who really doesn't show anything at any point in his pro career. But so far, we're seeing some signs of life. That's really encouraging. If he can parlay this into a strong season in the FCL and move himself up to single A by season's end, I would consider this year fairly successful, because depending on the numbers he puts up, he can position himself to be in high A Hudson Valley and have a career revival. This guy is still only 19 years old. We're very much not looking at him and saying, hey, if his career is already over, like, there's no way he's going to turn it around. But this is a do or die year for him. If he really struggles in the FCL this year as a 19-year-old, repeating a year at that level, the outlook is not great. There are not a lot of prospects who have had that level or that degree of a struggle in the Florida Complex League who have gone on to have good major league careers, or quite honestly have gone on to even play at the higher levels of the minor leagues. So this is a big year for him. Again, not writing him off entirely, even though last year was really, really rough. And he has an opportunity this year to really put himself in a good position to earn a promotion to single A and put himself right back on the Yankee prospect map. There are some other top performers. Xavier Rivas performed well. JG Etheridge performed well. And Sonaro Martina threw the ball well as well. All 3 of them are pitchers. I expect at least 2 of these 3 guys to end up in single A by season's end. Moving up to single A, which also happens to be in Tampa with the Tampa Tarpons, we got some signs of life from an offense that, I'm going to be honest, has been really, really bad this year. Like, it's been a bad offense. They've really struggled. They've struggled to generate runs. But Brian Sanchez went 9 for 18. He had 10 RBIs, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. And Owen Cobb, who, I mean, he has come out of nowhere in 8 games and has really been a spark plug for Tampa. He's someone that I think people should keep tabs on. He went 6 for 12 with a home run, 5 RBIs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. His season OPS is now up to 1.436. He has a 269 WRC plus in the early going of the season. He was an undrafted free agent last year. He actually got up to high A Hudson Valley, but he really struggled there. Is back in single A, started the season on the IL, now has an opportunity to get back up to high A with a hot enough start in Tampa and potentially, put together a really strong minor league year. We'll talk about some other another undrafted free agent bat who is in Hudson Valley right now. But Owen Cobb has really gotten off to a strong start. Hopefully he can parlay this into a successful season, because the more you can stack up decent position player prospects, even if they're more back-end top 30 guys, the more depth they're going to have in the organization, the more flyers you'll have. If you look at what a prospect really is, they're a lottery ticket. It's a fancy way of saying these guys are lottery tickets. And these are guys who, if they can get through their minor league career putting up solid numbers, they'll get a shot to major leagues. And sometimes these guys turn out to be studs. You look at a guy like Ben Rice. He was a 12th round pick who was unranked until his age 24 season. And then he turned it around. He went from the 24-year-old in single A to a middle of the order bat for the New York Yankees at the major league level. Those kinds of turnarounds can happen any year. And the Yankees have seemed to have a lot of success with these lesser known names. So Owen Cobb, definitely someone I'm going to keep tabs on. 4th round pick Gage Zeal had his best start of his pro career. 6 2/3 innings pitched. No runs allowed, no walks, 4 strikeouts. He struggled a little bit this year. He hasn't gotten off to a great start. Hasn't missed enough bats, in my opinion, but I think the repertoire is pretty solid, and that given more time in single A, I think he can develop a little bit and get his feet, kind of get himself settled a little bit and make some better pitches with 2 strikes or get ahead in the count a little bit more. Moving on to Hudson Valley, and this is where we have the most action. I mean, Hudson Valley is absolutely loaded with top Yankee prospects. If you look at my top 10 prospects that I ranked on ESM, EmpireSportsMedia.com, you will find a lot of Hudson Valley Renegade players. I mean, George Umbar Jr. was the guy I ranked at number 1. That's not a surprise. He is the consensus number 1 prospect in the organization. He started the year in Hudson Valley. Ben Hess, I ranked in the top 10. Carlos LaGrange, I ranked in the top 10. Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, I ranked in the top 10. And Bryce Cunningham, I ranked in the top 10. All 4 of those guys are in the Hudson Valley Renegades rotation. So that was 5 guys right there who were in Hudson Valley to start the year. And that number just shrank to 4. So the majority of their top prospects are in high A Hudson Valley. And it gets started here with Ben Hess, because Ben Hess was he was incredible. He was unbelievable. He had 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, no earned runs, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 1 hit. He flirted with a no-hitter. And I'm going to be honest, he looked like the top 100 caliber prospect that the Yankees were hoping they could get when they drafted him in the 1st round. And look, Ben Hess was not a consensus 1st round pick. He was not a top 20 prospect going into that draft class. He was ranked closer to the 35 to 45 range. But what the Yankees have unlocked with his fastball is truly excellent. He is getting way more vertical right on that pitch than he did in college. He gets downhill really well. I'm going to throw in a little bit of a comparison on the screen right now. You're going to see him with Garrett Cole. And it's not me comparing him to Garrett Cole. It's not that Ben Hess is going to be Garrett Cole, but that distinct trait of how well they move downhill and how kind of their body can release the ball a lot lower than you would expect for someone at their height. That creates a lot of deception, because that 4-seam fastball is really good at the top of the zone. That 4-seam fastball at the top of the zone generates a ton of whiffs. He has a 37.9% strikeout rate this year, which is one of the highest marks in minor league baseball. And he's still got a wide array of secondary pitches, whether it's the curveball, the changeup, the slider. Like, he can throw all those for strikes and get swings and misses on those pitches. Really, the only 2 things I'm looking at and saying I would like to see continued progression in this regard is with the command. He's walking about 11% of batters faced. I need that number to come down a little bit. And the fastball velocity. His fastball velocity was not where it should be at the start of the year. He's built that up. He hit 96 miles an hour in his fastball in Wilmington, this most recent start. And I think that ultimately that will improve the fastball velocity. The command, that's not as sure of a thing, but the fastball velocity, I think, is certainly going to improve as the weather gets warmer. If he's sitting around 93, 94 miles an hour, which is roughly where he was in college, the 6.5 feet of extension he gets on his fastball should add about a half a mile of extra perceived velocity on that pitch. And again, it just explodes out of his hand at the top of the zone. It has the movement kind of profile of a dominant fastball, and I'm really, really excited about what Ben Hess could be. His ERA drops to 3.424 on the season. Josh Groves was, remarkable. He was gross, for lack of better words. He had 6 2/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, no walks, 9 strikeouts. I know his season ERA is 4.30, and it might seem a little bit weird to talk highly about someone who has an ERA north of 4 in high A, but the strikeout to walk rates are really what I pay attention to most. I think if you have a good strikeout to walk rate and you don't allow a lot of home runs, that you are having a successful minor league season. That ERA, you see that how minor league defenses can play. Minor league defenses are a lot worse than major league defenses, so BABIP is higher. Soft batted balls get through more often. So I'm not going to judge Gross on his ERA. I am going to judge him on the fact that he can miss a bunch of bats, though, and that his command is good enough. Like, he's not walking a ton of dudes. And if you look at the profile, what he brings to the table, he's got a mid-90s fastball, like, can top at 96, 97, can usually sit around 94. It's got good vertical movement and a good amount of tail as well. And it releases it from a lower arm angle than you would expect. Last year, he had a 32-degree arm angle. That is well below the average for a right-handed pitcher. And on top of that, he's got a really good changeup that's gotten better. He killed a lot of spin on that pitch during the season last year. And he's got a nice sharp gyro slider, tight spin, good against lefties and righties. Josh Gross is someone who I have a very, very, very high bar for relative to, I think, most public outlets. I didn't rank him as a top 30 guy going into the season because I needed to see him adjust to high A. He had a really rough time in high A despite the ERA last year. Low strikeout rate, high walk rate. Again, I really value those two metrics. And this year he is looking a lot more poised, a lot more polished. Overall, just more comfortable throwing strikes and attacking the zone and getting swings and misses. I ultimately think he has a reliever profile because, again, he only has 3 pitches of note. But if he either A, expands the repertoire, B, adds some velocity, or C, has like an unbelievable jump in his command, then I think he could profile as a back-end starter. But again, we're talking about like a 13th round pick or 11th round pick, I believe, in 2023. This is not someone who was drafted highly. If he converts into a major league reliever and a successful one at that, that is a huge win for the New York Yankees. So Josh Gross, that's someone who I will be ranking in my top 30 in the midseason. And I think that more fans should be paying attention to. Moving on, we have Carlos LaGrange here, and he might be the Yankees' best pitching prospect. He had 5 2/3 innings pitched, shutout baseball, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. His ERA drops to 3.55 on the season. And look, his stuff is remarkable. His four-seam fastball explodes out of his hand. I mean, he has a fastball that touches 100 regularly, sits around 98 miles an hour, has good vertical ride. Another guy like Gross, where it's a lot of ride and tail on the fastball, but he releases it from a lower arm angle than you would expect. And this is someone in Carlos LaGrange who is 6'7". He is a tall dude. So for him to have that lower arm angle at around 35 degrees and release a fastball from there is going to really give hitters fits because he has this super wide release with his super long arms. And if he can continue to release the ball at that in that arm slot, in that arm angle, and get the shape he's been getting this year, he's going to be dominant. He's going to have a fastball that can just blow by hitters. He's going to get a lot of swings and misses at the top of the zone. Even if the shape gets worse, like even if, as he uses a major league ball, the shape is going to naturally get worse. If he's close to like a 15-inch IVB, induced vertical break, that is, fastball guy, the arm angle is so unique for someone that tall that it's going to play at the top of the zone. And he's got good secondary pitches. He's got a slider he uses against lefties. It's kind of more of a cutter. But it is a good pitch. And then he's got a big sweeper he can throw against righties that is just nasty, man. It's gross. The changeup, it's got a good speed differential. Still working on the command of the pitch, but I ultimately think this is someone who has really shined this year. The big thing for me is the improvement in strike throwing. I mean, he is someone who has always been known as like, yeah, he could go out there and dominate, or he could walk 5 guys in 3 innings and allow 2 runs. And you're just like, this is not a competitive starting pitcher. But this year is a 68.1% strike percentage. His walk rate is under 8% on the year. I mean, this is a really impressive season from Carlos LaGrange. He is still only 21 years old, and I fully anticipate him to be someone who gets to Double A fairly quickly. I think the Yankees know what they're doing with him. They aggressively promoted him from Single A last year, despite not really performing well. He is someone who should be a very successful pitcher at the next level if he can just maintain the stuff, because whether it's as a starter or a reliever, he is dominant. Looking at Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, he had the shortest start of the week for any Hudson Valley starter. 4 innings pitched, but he didn't allow a run. He walked 3 and he struck out 6. The ERA on the season now drops to 1.97. And look, he has some command issues at times. Like, he's walked 9% of batters faced. That's not great. It's not bad, but it's not better than league average. But I will say the swing and miss stuff is remarkable. I mean, his sinker does a really good job of keeping the ball on the ground, and he can get called strikes and some whiffs on it. His sweeper is really good. His split is gross. He's got a curveball. He's got a four-seamer he'll mix in there as well. I really like ERC's profile. What he does really well that I love is that he doesn't allow damage contact. And that's a trait that I know is hard to measure without StatCast data. Like, without StatCast data, how do you measure how often a pitcher is allowing damage contact? But I think you can look at the home run rate and the ground ball rate and say, Yeah, he's pretty good at it. Like he hasn't allowed a home run this year. He has a ground ball rate north of 50%. I mean, I'm really, really, really excited about what he can become and what he already is. I view him as someone who should be in consideration for a top 100 spot. He has so many good traits for a modern starting pitcher, deep repertoire, plus stuff, improving command. Like the command is about league average, I'd say. Like this year, it's been league average, and that's good enough for me. And I think he can pitch deep into games if he continues to work on the strike throwing ability. So again, getting that consistency in zone is a big thing. Being a little more consistent on a start-to-start basis is another. And everything else, I think everything else is there. It's just consistency, and he is still young. He's 21 years old. He's someone who could be in Double A soon. And if he pitches well in Double A, then we're gonna have some real conversations about, hey, he's Rule 5 eligible at the end of the year, 2026. You know, there is a lot of like turnover. There's not a lot of turnover in the rotation. Fried, Rodon, Schmidt, Keel, they're all under contract. Warren's under contract for next year. Cole is expected to return next year, but you know you're going to need more than 6 starters. Like the Yankees lost 2 starters in spring training. They didn't have Schmidt to start the year. Having someone like ERC on the 40-man roster, if he's added to the 40-man roster this winter, would certainly be a huge benefit for the Yankees' depth in the upper levels of the minor leagues. Looking at Bryce Cunningham, he wrapped up the week. He had 6 1/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. The season ERA is now down to 1.98. And Bryce Cunningham is like, again, he is the prototypical good starting pitching prospect. Strike thrower, big fastball, 3 secondary pitches, 2 breaking balls and a changeup. Can throw all of them for strikes, gets enough swings and misses, can keep the ball on the ground, doesn't allow the home run ball, doesn't walk the ballpark. Like, he is just awesome. I love him. I think that the way he's built is so like, yes, this guy can be a frontline starting pitcher. At the very least, I expect him to be a back-end starting pitcher for the Yankees at some point. If he's like your number 4 one day, like that's cool. He has like all of the makings and all of the traits and all of the good stuff that you hope for in a frontline starter, at least a middle of the rotation starter. It's again just a matter of command in zone. Like sometimes he doesn't get as many swings and misses as you would expect. Sometimes it feels like his fastball, like he's not keeping it up in the zone to get those whiffs. He's not executing on certain pitches, but that is expected for someone who's in their first pro season, and definitely expected for someone who, like in Vanderbilt, was not known for great command. So again, improved strike throwing abilities. That's the big change here. And he's got a deep enough repertoire where he should be able to progress through the minor leagues relatively quickly. Again, attacks his own, good stuff. That usually translates to the next level. On the offensive side, Parks Harbor is someone I really wanted to highlight. He now has a 950 OPS in the season, had a home run, 6 RBIs, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts this week. He was an undrafted free agent who signed after the 2024 MLB draft. He hits the ball really hard. He has multiple exit velocities north of 110 miles an hour this year. He has some improving contact rates as well. The swing decisions are pretty good. Parks Harbor is a right-handed bat who plays third and can play some first. I mean, you're just kind of more invested in an infield prospect because the Yankees don't have a lot of infield depth in the upper levels of the minor leagues. I guess George Lombard Jr. changed that, but he's one guy. One guy cannot create depth. He just creates one dude, and you do not want to rely on George Lombard Jr. as your only potential infielder who can help you this year or that you can dangle at the trade deadline. So Harbor is a fun prospect. Again, hits the ball hard. Again, he's a little older than the average hitter at high A. He's 23 years old, but I don't think that should be as big of a hindrance because guys are debuting at older ages now than they have in years past. And very importantly, you look at Ben Rice and you kind of go, right? You see what happened with Ben Rice. Austin Wells, he's a guy who debuted, I think, at like 24. Aaron Judge debuted at 24. Like, guys debut older now. Like, the Yankees can have guys who debut at an older age and they can still be a successful prospect. So I really wouldn't be too caught up in the fact that Parks Harbor is 23. If he continues to perform, if he gets a promotion to Double A by the end of the year and he performs well there, it's going to say all you need to know. Like, as long as the batted ball data is good, as long as he's hitting the ball hard, as long as he's making good swing decisions, as long as he's putting up numbers, you're not going to care about that age too much because it's not like he's 26 in high A. He is about a year older than the average player he's facing. It's not that big of a discrepancy. He's a college dude facing other dudes who are first-year pros and college dudes. And Parks Harbor's a first-year pro who went to college, who is now in high A. Like, I don't think the age should play too much of a variable here. And yeah, moving on to Double A though, because again, we have so much action in high A, but I want to show some love to the other affiliates. In Somerset, Cam Schlittler, 6 innings pitched, 1 run, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. His ERA is now 2.18 on the season. The stuff is good. The fastball's in the mid-90s. Good extension on the fastball. Solid vertical movement on that pitch. Really good sweeper. Really good curveball. Solid cutter. He has, like, again, the rumors of the splitter were something that, like, really excited me. I'm kind of sad that pitch hasn't taken off, because if it did, I'd be talking about him as like, hey, get this guy up to the big leagues like now. But I think he is going to need that AAA promotion. I think we are going to need to see him pitch there for a decent bit before I can push that a little bit harder. He had a really strong start. He is a guy who keeps the ball on the ground. He can get swings and misses. He isn't walking too many guys this year. He is just really polished. I'm really happy with where he's at, considering where he was a year ago, which last year he did break out, but his command was kind of all over the place. This year, we're kind of seeing that a little bit better. Still sometimes where I'm just like, hey, that fastball is not where it should be. Like, we're throwing the fastball down the zone 0-2. Like, let's get that ball up. Let's land the curveball a little bit more consistently. Let's land the slider. Like, there are little things you can nitpick, but overall, he's been really impressive this year. And if we're going to sit here and nitpick every single prospect and every single mistake they make, I mean, good God, these are prospects, right? They're not established big leaguers for a reason. So Schlittler is someone I'm really excited for. I think he's going to be someone who gets put on the 40-man roster this offseason. And maybe this year pitches for the Yankees. Like, I don't want to discount that. He is someone who could absolutely make a start for the New York Yankees in 2025. Another starter who has been really impressive in Somerset was Trent Sellers. 5 innings of shutout ball, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He's a 3.21 ERA on the year. He has such a weird profile. He struck out 33.9% of batters faced this year with a 3.21 ERA. But he doesn't have like a powerful fastball. He doesn't have a extremely deep repertoire. He is a fastball guy who released the fastball from a super low slot. Doesn't throw very hard, sits like 90 to 91 miles an hour. Has like one of the nastiest changeups I've ever seen. Like, that pitch is straight up just gross. And that's the bread and butter right there. Like, he is a fastball changeup guy who has a good fastball and has a good changeup. Like, and it's not a hard fastball. It's a soft fastball. It is more reliant on movement than it is on velocity. But that doesn't mean that I think he's someone who, like, should just be outright ignored because he doesn't throw hard. I think that pitchers who don't throw hard are limited in their ceiling for sure, but are not doomed to be busts. Like, I don't think every slow thrower or soft tosser is a bust. I think they have value, and more importantly, they can still develop velocity. So fastball, cutter, changeup, like, that's a decent mix. It'll play. I hope that the extension he gets on his fastball can help him play it up a little bit. Like, if he's sitting closer to 92 miles an hour and the extension adds, about a half a tick to the velo, that'd be cool. But I don't think that we're going to see like 95, 96 from him. I would also like to point out in regards to the changeup, I think it's better than last year. That's just the visual thing. That's just me, like, looking at it. I don't have pitch data on that, but it just looks disgusting. It looks gross. And I wonder if he can throw a splitter. A sweeper or something that moves laterally, because he doesn't have anything that moves away from righties, and that's a little bit of a concern to me. But if he can develop one, that'd be great. And I wonder if he could, because he has a super wide release point. He just doesn't spin the ball well. Like, the spin rates aren't super high. And so there is some concern on my end that, like, maybe it'll never come around, but we shall see. Moving on to AAA, we have a lot of bats to talk about here. Everson Pereira had 2 home runs this week, 6 RBIs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. He's Everson Pereira. He's going to strike out a lot, and he's going to hit a lot of home runs. I will say, over the last 12 games, he struck out just 28% of the time while hitting 6 home runs. Maybe it's a sign of good things to come, but until I stop having to refer to him as, like, the guy who strikes out a lot, who also hits a lot of home runs, I am still going to be a little skeptical about the major league outlook. I think it's a platoon bat, a weak side platoon bat, play him against lefties and hope he hits the ball out. Defense is good in the corner outfield. He's a good defensive corner outfielder. That's not a problem, but he has made less contact this year than he did in 2022 in AAA or 2023 in AAA, and that's concerning. So hopefully that those early season contact issues were a fluke, and that we get to see him perform a little bit better. TJ Rumfield, 6 for 12, a home run, 4 RBIs, a walk, 2 strikeouts. His season OPS is now 904. He's got a WRC plus north of 140 this year. He's hitting for more power. He's walking more. He's seeing the ball in the air more, pulling the ball more, et cetera, et cetera. He's a strong fielding first baseman. He's no longer like a guy who's like a first baseman who can't hit for power, and that profile doesn't really work for me. Like, if you're a first baseman and there's no juice to speak of in the bat, like, I don't really know what to do with you, because I don't know if you're going to hit for a high average at the next level, especially if you're not hitting the ball really hard. Like, if you don't hit the ball hard, hit expectancy is lower. But if he can pull the ball in the air consistently the way he has this year, I could totally see him being a solid major league first baseman. And again, being a good defensive first baseman gives him a much higher floor than most first base prospects. Then you have Jesus Rodriguez, 5 for 13, no home runs, 3 RBIs, a 1 strikeout and 1 walk this week. His 770 season OPS may seem underwhelming, but that's because he went 3 for 28 in his first week in Double-A with Somerset, and then got promoted to Triple-A, which was so strange. But this year, I mean, he's been incredible in AAA. He has a 421 WOBA, a 417 xWOBA. That is the 7th highest xWOBA for any hitter in AAA with at least 75 plate appearances. He doesn't hit the ball extremely hard, but he hits the ball hard enough. He hits a lot of line drives. He has more walks than strikeouts. I mean, this is a guy who knows how to hit. And Jesus Rodriguez has just hit at every level he's played at, with the exception of Double-A. He can just hit. He flat out just hits. He mashes. He rakes. Not a ton of power, but he's going to just hit the ball a ton and spray the ball over the field, work his walks, get on base, make good swing decisions. I'm really happy with Jesus Rodriguez's performance, and I kind of think this guy might be a big leaguer this year. He's already on the Yankees 40-man roster. He's looked a little bit better behind the dish at catcher. He can play some third base. He can play some first base. He can play some corner outfield. If he was a better defensive third baseman, I think the conversation about him coming up would be a little bit louder. But because he's not, I think that conversation is a little bit limited. Just a little bit limited, because he's probably a primary catcher who isn't a great defensive catcher. Not an abhorrent one the way I would say like 2 years ago. But he's not close to Austin Wells. He's not close to JC Escara. Like those two guys, they are much better defensive players than he is. And if he's a platoon bat off the bench at catcher who can't really field, that's not a very high ceiling profile. So I do wonder what the Yankees end up doing with him. I wonder what position he ends up sticking at, because this guy can flat out hit. Like, he's one of their best minor league hitters. He's been one of their best minor league hitters for like 3 years now. So I kind of have to start wondering whether their placement of him on the 40-man roster is an indication that they believe this is a big leaguer, or if they're just trying to prop up some of that trade value a little bit. But I guess we'll find out this trade deadline, and we'll figure out a little bit more as the season goes on. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this week's prospect report. It was a very loaded one. I highlighted 21 players in the article I did. I did not talk about all of them here. I either A, briefly glossed over them, or B, just saved that for the article, because I want you guys to check out that article, because I'm going to be doing those every week as well as I do these videos. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, we really appreciate your support. We love you guys so much. And if you enjoy these prospect breakdowns, these prospect reports, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn the notification bell, because every Monday you're going to get another prospect report. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Let's go Yankees, and peace out, everyone.
Perfect.